Jerry Ward.
Thank you for this opportunity. I had handouts, I think you have them, and they're important to read, of course. I've been representing the South Portland Neighborhood Association for over 35 years. We are part of this project on the downtown scenario. I now serve as representative on PDC's North Macadam Urban Renewal Advisory Committee. I'm an architect planner that has been involved in transportation land use issues for decades. I want to clarify to this board the collaborative spin, mischaracterization by PDC, COP, City of Portland, Metro, and TriMet in regards to financial non-viability of Milwaukie Light Rail. A good example is executive summary of the Board of Commissioners dated 5/12/2010 by PDC's Executive Director Bruce Warner. It is a report on providing $10 million of North Macadam's TIP dollars to fund Milwaukie Light Rail. Mr. Warren wrote under page 2, public participation feedback, which I've handed out to you, just the second page there. Quote, use of TIF resources in North Macadam urban renewal area for this project has been reviewed and commented on by North Macadam URAC. Some members of the URAC have expressed concern over the degree of financial contribution proposed to come from the URAC, urban renewal area. The URAC has expressed general support for the project separate from the funding plan as approved by City Council, unquote. This paragraph minimally is a total mischaracterization and spin. I emphasized some members, what I just read, and general support, because it is totally contrary to fact what Mr. Warner said. The first $10 million taken from North Macadam for Milwaukie Light Rail by Sam Adams were service development charges from North Macadam. This was done without any discussion or vote of the URAC. Second $10 million, which Mr. Warren addressed, are TIF dollars taken again by Adams that initially our URAC never knew anything about it. When we were first informed, our URAC on July 9th, 2009, voted unanimously to oppose this taking of these TIF dollars for Milwaukie Light Rail. We asked the PDC board and the City Council in writing be informed of this action. Several months passed and no such correspondence ever went out by PDC staff or anyone else. So on October 8th, 2009, on this discovery of no letter, our URAC again voted unanimously to oppose the additional $10 million in TIF dollars for Milwaukie Light Rail, making certain that it be put into writing. Both of these votes are extremely contrary to Mr. Warner's writing of some members and have expressed concern, and the URAC has expressed general support. I'd like to submit a June 10th, 2010 letter I submitted to our URAC that further demonstrates our discrepancies, misrepresentation by PDC staff in regards to Milwaukie Light Rail. The letter is based on review of minutes and audio tapes of several URAC meetings. Also included is a full copy of Warner's executive summary for the record. These examples of spin, mischaracterization just from our URAC on Milwaukie Light Rail is being pursued on the higher levels in other jurisdictions involved in Milwaukie Light Rail. TriMet, City of Portland, Metro have been claiming that their shares of funding for Milwaukie Light Rail are accounted for. TriMet is still short. City of Portland is still short of their $30 million. And this kind of spin even extends to Clackamas County's $25 million share and Milwaukee's $5 million.
I'm going to ask you to wrap it up here.
I'm just about done. They haven't acquired these funds. They haven't even set up their new urban renewal areas, which is in their which is their selected means for funding. And these urban renewal areas are becoming even more politically unlikely, with elections likely for this funding in Milwaukee and Clackamas County. TriMet and all the other government agencies are misinforming the federal government, the media, and the taxpayers would be paying for Milwaukee Light Rail to spend much stuff.
Thank you.
And reality.
That's all the
And
time.
reality is that.
Jeff Ash. Thank you very much. Jeff Ash? Morning, Keith.
I'm a bus driver, but I'm just speaking as a citizen right now. And it's not going to be as professional as these gentlemen. I think they're doing a great job. I would like to throw in my 2 cents and ask, given the current conditions, what's the rush? Before, I'm not saying to not eventually go ahead with the project, but I think there's enough adversity right now to postpone a decision. Especially since this measure to buy 125 new buses failed. If that didn't fail, I might not even be up here. But what I've heard is that that would only represent half of the buses that are beyond the Federal Transit Administration guidelines to be retired, which I've heard is 250 buses. So call me a dreamer, but I can see a much cheaper alternative, more in line with current economic conditions and budget conditions. I believe Neil is on record as saying he's prepared to cut more from existing service to plug funding holes for this project. And I fear that without the lifeblood of a strong modern bus system, that these light rail tracks will come to represent more of a skeletal system of what was once a more vibrant transit agency. What about something like rapid transit buses for the McLaughlin corridor? How about buying 250 new trolley buses and stringing overhead lines down Sandy Boulevard, Burnside, Hawthorne, Division, Powell, all the way to Gresham? You'd have 250 brand new, clean, green buses operated by operators, which would be 250 green energy jobs, which is what bus operators are. Finally, I've heard that, speaking of the service debt, that the light rail debt service is already half of TriMet's current budget deficit. I don't know if that number is exactly right, but what I've heard is that the budget deficit is like $25 million, and the debt service on the existing light rail is about $12 or $13 million. So obviously going ahead with this would just add to that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
That concludes our public testimony. Are there further questions of the general manager before we proceed? If not, I'm going to look for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.